What's up, everybody? Three and a possible here, two and a possible this week.
Be
Devion is
like
still
that.
on baby watch, so
Good luck,
prayers,
sir.
prayers. Hope everything goes well. Joe and I will hold it down. But Joe, we've had some craziness, some drama lately, so let's get into it.
Yes,
We'll start
sir.
in the NFL. First, some player news. We got Cam Newton going back to Carolina. He's vaxxed. He's back in the lineup today. We're recording the 14th, Sunday night. Where they surprisingly knocked off the Cardinals, smacked the Cardinals.
Insane.
So pretty impressive debut. He had some goal line work, and that was pretty much all he got. Obviously, he just got in earlier this week,
Right.
so doesn't know the playbook yet. So nice to see them get some plays out there for him, though. So, Joe, what do you think? Does that help put the Panthers kind of back in the playoffs, or what do you think?
I definitely think it puts them back in the playoffs. I think PJ Walker played better than I expected him to come from the XFL. They actually they were pretty conservative with him, but he didn't make mistakes, which was key. And giving Cam Newton that touchdown, I think that was smart. Give him some confidence builder before he comes in and get that crowd. They're gonna be excited when they get to see Cam Newton come back. But I don't really think this is much to do about anything. Arizona was real injured last week. They're still a little injured. They're coming off of injuries. AJ Green, Denard Hopkins, and Kyle Murray all were injured last week. So I think this is just a little comeback game. And I mean, how do you game plan for PJ Walker and Cam Newton? Like, you weren't expecting that coming into the week. So I think that's what it is. I do think Cam Newton will help them into the playoffs. I just don't think they're that good of a team that, like, wow, they beat the Cardinals. But
And
they're
and
definitely a playoff team because that
and we
division is
should
not
we
very
should
good.
note as well, like Kyler did not play again this week, so
Right.
that's obviously a big thing.
Hurts.
But last week they played the 49ers. It didn't seem to matter. Is it Colt McCoy right in there? It
Yeah,
didn't
but
matter.
yeah.
Boom. But this week,
Colt McCoy
Cam.
can't be that long in there for that long. Like, come on now.
No, and then we even
Come on
we
now.
even got some Strevler action. The legend Strevler even got some.
Wow, yeah, that's
Reps.
all bad.
So yeah, I think it definitely keeps them in the mix. I don't know that they'll beat out the Bucks or the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints look kind of good, better than I thought they were gonna look.
The Saints still got a really good defense. Trevor Simeon.
Is he
But
capable?
but they just played the Titans, who have been like the hottest team in the NFL. They played them to a 2-point game today, so we'll see. What I like though, Joe, I also like that they got Cam some work in the
Oh,
goal line
smart.
area, because one, they put that on tape. They might not do it every week. I think it's going to probably be a couple weeks before Cam, takes the starting role. He's got to learn the playbook, the terminology. I know people are like, "Oh, he was just there," but it's a whole different regime now.
Mm-hmm.
He was there with Ron Rivera. As soon as Matt Rule came in, Cam was gone. So he doesn't know any of this. So he's got to learn it just like any new quarterback going to a new place, and that takes some time. But it gives something for the opposing teams that now game plan for. You might see Cam Newton in the red zone. Takes a little pressure off of PJ Walker as well. Like PJ
Absolutely.
Walker just, manage the game, don't turn the ball over, like you said, Joe. And I think we can all agree, way better than having Sam Darnold out there. Sam was just
Apparently, so I like Sam Darnold, but he just makes stupid mistakes. Like, he'll have a good 2, 3, 4 drives, and then next thing you know, it just all falls apart. Like, what are you doing, man? This is awful.
some mind-blowing turnovers from Sam Darnold on a consistent basis. But let's
Consistent.
talk about
Yep.
the other big player news. Your Rams,
Yes, sir.
they won out on the OBJ sweepstakes. So OBJ got released from Cleveland. Everyone was pretty much saying Chiefs, Packers, Saints for some reason, and then the
Because he's
Rams.
from Louisiana.
Well, all right, but
Yeah, stupid.
he like
Come on,
I
man.
think he
It's,
wanted to take a step up from Baker Mayfield, not a step down.
exactly. Why the hell would he want to go from cold ass New York to cold ass boring ass Cleveland to freaking New Orleans or Kansas City? Like, come on, man. We're
Kansas
talking about
City, I would
Odell
have.
Beckham here.
Kansas
Odell
City, I would
Beckham.
have got. At least he's with Mahomes. Got Tyreek on the other side. That could have been a lot of fun.
This man
He
care
still,
more than
he
just
still didn't
football. He
have.
about living life.
Oh, I mean, he's already got a house in L.A. Like that wasn't a.
Part
That
of
was
it. He can go to a Lakers game on Wednesday night or something like that.
We'll see.
He's
All
gonna be
right.
chilling.
What do you think this does for the Rams?
It's
And
great.
timely. Unfortunate for Robert Woods. Robert Woods tears his ACL on Friday,
That
right after
sucks.
they signed Odell. You were thinking it was going to be a nice three-headed monster there, but now it's going to be Cooper Kupp on one side, leading the NFL in receiving touchdowns and receiving yards, with OBJ on the other end. What do you think?
I think it's good because automatically they got something they never had yet. They had great receivers. They had really good receivers with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, and Van Jefferson. But still, at the end of the day, those guys aren't athletic and dynamic as Odell Beckham is. Now you have a true number one person that you can go to. You had good route runners underneath. Odell Beckham can now be that deep route that you need with Matthew Stafford. And we've seen Matthew Stafford knows how to use and target a superstar receiver. He did it with Calvin Johnson. So I'm pretty sure Odell Beckham's going to get his touches and he's going to be happy. We'll just see if he's healthy. I like the fact that he may be returning some punts and kicks offs. If he can do that, that tells me that they're not too concerned about his health because it don't take much to get knocked out on a special teams play. So if he's healthy enough to do that, I think it's going to be a good sign to show that they're going to slowly bring him along, and that offense is going to be crazy dynamic. My only concern still is they can't run the ball. Like, they have nobody to run the ball. So if you can just sit there and you got some good, if you get a 4-man rush, who cares if you got all those receivers? We can just cover everybody. So that's going to be the big issue.
Well, I mean, it's been the same thing all year, and they haven't really found an answer to stop Stafford and Cooper Kupp. But that outside of a couple games, where they just,
that's fair,
like you said, were able to get pressure and, kind of break down the pocket on Stafford. But yeah, I think this was a good marriage. I think it makes a lot of sense because I think the thing that went most wrong in Cleveland for Odell was, I think everyone knows Odell will freelance some routes from time to time.
Facts.
And
I think receiver.
I mean, whatever. I mean, I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but it's something that you and the quarterback have to be on the same page about. And I just don't think like he and Baker ever fully got there. Baker his first 3 years had a new OC every year, right? So like Baker's trying to learn the NFL and then learn a new offense every year, and then he's got a receiver, that might think he sees something out there, and Baker might just not have gotten on those same pages, right? So that just was not a good marriage. You put him with Stafford, a guy that's been in the NFL for over 10 years, had a lot of success, like said, had Calvin Johnson, had a lot of success with him. Like if Matt Stafford goes to Odell, like, no, don't do that again. Odell's not going to do it again.
Mm-hmm. Facts.
I think, well,
good point.
Maybe he might, but I think he'll respect that and he'll understand. Like, they'll just be able to level a little better. And then I think the cherry on top is you got Sean McVay running the offense, where
make it easy for you to get open, man.
He's proven, because we have to remember Stefanski came in as a first-time head coach with Odell, so he didn't quite have the success that McVay had. So I think those things combined with Odell, fresh mindset, new place, he's, I think it's going to work out really well. And Cooper Kupp is a perfect complement, just like I think Jarvis Landry would have been a perfect complement in Cleveland. I just think the quarterback being a veteran with a really good head coach, I think that's going to be the perfect combo for Odell, and I think we finally see him look like the guy that we're used to.
Mm-hmm.
And my fantasy football teams could use it.
That's funny.
All right, so let's talk about some of these upsets. We teased the Cardinals one.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not as big of an upset without Kyler, but we saw Arizona handle business last week. They couldn't get their run game going like they did last week. No 3 touchdowns for James Conner. So tell me, what do you think? Do you think anything to worry about here if you're Cardinals, or are you just like, until I see Kyler Murray, I don't really care?
Yeah, until I see Kyler Murray and they're healthy, I still think they're one of the best teams in the NFC. That defense is good enough to make things happen. Kyler Murray, when he's healthy and the way he's been playing, he hasn't been turning the ball over, which is key. And I think that's going to make him even better. If he continues to not turn the ball over, that offense is going to be real hard to stop. They can run the ball enough to make things happen. And that defense is going to be able to keep pressuring the quarterback all the time. So I'm not too worried about the Cardinals. As long as they can get healthy right on the right time, I think they'll be pretty good for the playoffs.
Yep, I'm a little worried about some of their season-ending injuries. Like J.J. Watt not being there. That was a really nice compliment to Chandler Jones. I think that definitely hurts them. But like you said, if they get Kyler and DeAndre Hopkins back and fully healthy and rolling, this game does nothing to me to worry me about the Cardinals. I think it is still a good sign for the Panthers, but again, I think it's just 2 different scenarios. You want to see the Panthers look refreshed, look new, look good. And with the Cardinals, they stole one last week without Kyler, so whatever. All right. Let's talk about the Buccaneers. Fresh off a bye week and lost to the Washington football team. Washington gave them probably one of their tougher games in the playoffs last year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Washington has not resembled that team at all this year, so this is a little interesting to me. Joe, are you worried about the defending champs?
I mean, the problem is the same problem I always have with them when you go against Tom Brady. If you can get pressure up the middle, you can stop Tom Brady, and then that's going to be a win the game. I know they got a lot of weapons, but they don't really have the type of weapons that Tom Brady's used to. We got a lot of deep, medium route type receivers out there. I mean, you do have Antonio Brown, but he's been in and out.
Yeah, he did not play today.
Exactly. I mean, you got Mike Evans, but he's inconsistent as well. You can just throw him the deep ball, but I don't know. Tom Brady is freaking 45 years old. Like, come on now, man. Eventually his arm's going to get tired. He's not going to be able to make those deep throws. So he's going to need a reliable slot receiver, and they just haven't had that this year. And then their defense is just inconsistent as well. It's been good when healthy, but sometimes it's just inconsistent. That front four is not getting as much pressure as they did last year, and I think that's going to hurt them a little bit. I think they are slipping, but they're still a threat just because of Tom Brady.
All right. I'm not going to say that. They're not a threat just because of Tom Brady.
Yes, they are.
They are. I mean, they're a threat because of everything that came with Tom Brady. Tom Brady with that many weapons is, I don't care. He could be 60 and he's going to be able to, he's going to be able to make it work. I'm not super concerned. Before this week, I was not concerned at all. Thought they were still one of the couple teams from the NFC. Raising that concern a little bit. Just a little bit, not panic or anything, but it's more to what you kind of finished with. Their defense, I mean, maybe Tyler Heineke is like Nick Foles to Tom Brady, and like they just he just figures out how to put it together when Tom Brady's on the other side. I don't. It just seems interesting. Like obviously their secondary has been depleted. Sherman did not go today. But, man, like Todd Bowles, I know Todd Bowles well. He was a Dolphins defensive coordinator for a while. Then right before he went and took the head coaching job with the Jets. And his MO has been pretty consistent. He wants to blitz the hell out of you. You can't do that when their secondary is that bad. And I think he made some of those defensive linemen look a little better. Like Shaq Barrett is good. I don't think he's 20 sacks a year good.
No,
I think Todd Bowles' schemes and blitzes helped free him up. And like you said, they're not getting there with 4. So I'm a little worried about the defense. They still did a good job stuffing the run. Vita Vea is a freaking monster. So, and then you still got Sue in there. So I'm good with them against the run. It's the pass defense. Making Taylor Heineke look like a competent quarterback is not good.
Definitely not good.
No. So I'm at like a level 3 concern on a scale of 1 to 10 of 3. I was at a 0, but now I'm up to. I'm like, all right, let me pay attention a little more. Yeah, well,
Tom Brady threw 2 more interceptions. It's a little suspect.
What are you doing, Tom? Come on, Tommy.
About time. Thank you. He's got to fall off soon. Jeez,
been waiting on it for a long time. Okay, let's talk about Lions and Steelers. They tied. What's the worst fucking thing in football? A fucking tie. Steelers, what's going on? What's going on with Joe? What's going on?
No, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, Dwayne Haskins. That's rough. Like, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Or was it Rudolph? I saw Rudolph in overtime.
Yeah, it was both. I saw Haskins as well. It was both. Yeah. It's not when you have to use Mason Rudolph or Dwayne Haskins. It's not going to be a good day offensively for you. I do like Najee Harris. I think what he does for the Steelers is going to keep them alive in their division because that division is stacked and the Browns suck. So I think the Steelers offensively, they're not going to be able to put up a lot of points. That's why they tied 19-19 against the Lions. But that defense is still legit. So I'm not worried about the Steelers.
Don't give yourself those extra 3 points.
16-16. My fault. 16-16. So that defense is legit.
50 pass attempts for Mason Rudolph. That's not.
That's way too many. I totally watched and saw Dwayne Haskins throw a couple passes.
He didn't make it into the box score. I don't know. You might have saw him warming up on the sideline.
Are you serious? I watched highlights of Dwayne Haskins.
I don't know.
Man.
I don't know.
Wow.
But 50 pass attempts
on my TV screen.
50 pass attempts to yield 242 yards. That's not great.
No,
That's
50 passes. That's way too many for Mason Rudolph. First of all,
yeah. I mean, that needed to be a
that should have
control
been
the clock
22
type of game.
passes. Yeah,
Yeah,
but your
that's
offensive line sucks. So I mean, what can you do?
that's true. Goff, meanwhile, threw 25 times for 114 yards. So not if you wanted to see good quarterbacks play, that was not the game.
Jared Goff
Uh,
is so bad.
so Joe, this is what I want to ask you about with this game, though, because the Steelers had the opportunity, I think, to win and take sole possession of first place. And the reason I ask is because the Steelers' schedule, it's about to get.
That's rough.
They
That's
kind of
rough.
needed that one. Steelers now go to LA to play the Chargers, followed by the Bengals, followed by the Ravens, followed by the Vikings. The Vikings had a good win today against the
Mm-hmm.
Chargers. Uh, then the Titans, then the Chiefs, then the Browns, and the Ravens. That's how the Steelers finished the
That's
year.
rough. That's
So
rough.
did that does this sink their playoff chances here, Joe?
Man, Mike Tomlin doesn't have losing seasons. So
I mean, I'm
that's
not saying he's gonna have
really
a losing season per se. He needs to get 3 wins out of there to avoid a losing
I only
season.
see 2 wins on there that are guaranteed to me, for real.
Oh shit! I thought they had at least a guaranteed today, and they didn't have a guaranteed
Yeah,
win
right.
today.
That's what I'm
So
saying. I'm thinking
yeah,
you said Minnesota. I think they can win Minnesota because their defense is
yeah.
good enough
No,
to stop
actually,
Kirk
that
Cousins.
one is a guarantee because that's a Thursday night game, so we'll get
Oh,
prime
Kirk Cousins.
time
Yeah,
Kirk
not happening.
Cousins.
Not
So yeah,
happening. Yep, you're right.
so
And then
Steelers
what was
can
that?
get that one.
What was the
They got the
game?
Bengals on there still. I think
No.
uh, the
Uh,
Ravens, the
oof.
Chiefs, the Titans.
Titans. The Chargers. They
Chargers,
can beat the
Chargers next
Chargers.
week. They can
They
beat
can
the
beat the
Chargers next
Chargers.
week. I think that's a good matchup for
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
exactly. And that
assuming Ben
defense.
can come back. I did find out today that Ben is vaccinated, so if
Yeah.
he
I'll
gets,
help too. It'll be good.
he'll have an opportunity at least to test negative twice before that game.
I think the Steelers are
So
going to lose twice to the Bengals. They got to beat the Bengals. Wait, the Bengals. Or the Browns. They're not losing twice to the Browns either.
well, they beat the Browns the first time,
Beat the Browns. That's all right.
but that is their home game with the Browns, so that's another one that could look good. And the Browns got
Possible.
smacked 45-7 by Dink and Doug Patriots today.
Yeah.
Mac Jones threw
Mac
for
Jones.
195 yards, I think, and they scored 45 points.
That's terrible.
So
That's
I don't know.
terrible.
Now Baker did have to come out of the game, so there was injuries there.
Save him from looking like an embarrassment.
I don't know. I think looking good.
Uh,
But all right, let's get to the upset that I obviously want to talk about.
Here we go.
Thursday night, my Dolphins decided they want to be a football team one time this year. They finally kind of looked like the Dolphins that I think, even though you weren't as high on them as I was, obviously, I think they looked like the team that you kind of were expecting them to be
I give you that.
finally. Now, what I want to ask you, so I'll give you a quick rundown. The Dolphins blitzed their DBs the most times in a game, I think, since like 2016, I think the stat was. About 40 times. And basically what they were using, they were going to blitz either Javon Holland or Brandon Jones. One of them was coming every single time. And it basically just decided they were going to show double A gap pressure, cover zero look, damn near every play. Sometimes they would drop out of it, but what it does, it confuses the offensive line. They don't know who to block
Yeah.
right away, right? So then the Dolphins were getting free rushers a lot, and they were usually a DB that was athletic and could at least have a prayer of running with Lamar Jackson. And it really stymied the Ravens' offense. Do you think that is going to be an issue that, or at least a way that other teams now are going to emulate, and do you think that's going to give the Ravens problems the rest of the year?
I think teams will emulate it, but I think Lamar Jackson is good enough that they'll find a way to figure it out because he's so hard to stop and he's so fast. Like that offensive line, they'll get it together. They'll notice it. They'll do the slide protection, and Lamar Jackson will know where the blitz is coming from, and he'll just roll out the opposite way and he'll be gone. Until he'll say, "Okay, keep blitzing that side. I'll just run the other way, and I'm gonna get 7 yards every time before I even get touched." So that's the best way for them to negate that. But was not too surprised that the Dolphins won the game. I didn't think they were going to win, but I did think they were going to cover because I just thought it's a Thursday night game, and the Ravens, they had 3 straight games where they were down 10 and came back and won. So
You
I knew they
can't
were
you
going to be
can't
hella
keep
tired.
playing
You
with
can't
fire
do
like
that.
that.
Yeah.
Like you're just asking for a loss there.
19 were super tired. It was bound to happen.
And at the end of the day, there's issues with Flores. I like Brian Flores overall, but he's got his
That's what
issues
defense.
mostly on the offensive side. Defensively, that man is
He can coach some
that man's a
D.
genius. And I did
Yes, sir.
notice the last couple weeks he's denying it, but I've seen the play call sheet in his hand, which was not like that the first 8 weeks of the
Yeah,
season.
he's like, enough's
So
enough. I'm about to get fired because
he's
of
like,
you.
yeah, look, if we fail on offense, fine, but we are not failing on defense.
Yeah.
And
Which
I
they
think
kind of were the first 7 games of the season. It's pretty bad. Pretty bad.
one of the worst defenses in the NFL
Yeah.
statistically. Now, some of that was they played the Bills twice, the Bucks, they played some high-powered offenses. But nonetheless, another thing that I think helps the Dolphins that not many other teams have. Not many other teams have an Xavier Howard and a Byron Jones.
Yeah, that helps.
You can blitz a bunch of guys when you got those 2 guys
Lock
out
it
there.
down. Yeah.
Like we were talking about with the Bucks, they
They
can't
can't do that.
run
No
all
way.
those blitzes because they don't have DBs
They
back
get
there.
ate up.
So I think this is let's be real. The Dolphins most likely will not be in the playoffs. So Lamar, I don't think has to worry about seeing them. I can't think of another team that's like a contender in the AFC that has really even a corner that's as good as like Xavier Howard or Byron Jones. I guess the Bills with Tre'Davious White.
Tre'Davious White. I was going to say Tre'Davious White.
That doesn't seem to really be the Bills' way.
Yeah.
So
Eagles' defense is good, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, it's just not. It's different.
It's
They
different, yeah.
win differently. So I'm not super concerned for the Ravens. I'm excited that the Dolphins actually look like a football team. And I will say this: the Dolphins' next 4: Jets twice, Giants, and Panthers.
Oh,
So
yeah,
now
I
the
can win
Panthers
all
look a
those
little
games.
better.
Win all those games.
So all of a sudden, the Dolphins, if they take care of business, could be at 7-7, which would, with the way the AFC is looking, that could actually put them alive if they take care of business.
Mm-hmm.
So interesting stuff. Let's go to basketball, Joe, because there's been some rookies playing well. There's been some drama. We'll start with the biggest drama, which involved my Miami Heat. Markieff Morris took a hard foul on Jokic at the end of the game, in which the Heat were legitimately getting blown. I mean, it wasn't that much of a cheap shot.
It was. We getting our ass kicked. Let me go ahead and try to punk this dude.
It was a take foul, get everybody out the game, and he hit him harder than he should have. It wasn't that bad. Jokic and Markieff Morris. Now this is where I'm a little iffy. He just walks away. Like he walked away like he did nothing. Now it was a hard foul. There's no getting around that it was a hard foul.
Right, you gotta expect to push back at least.
But then Jokic just full out charges him and throws his shoulder right into his spine. And it was actually kind of a scary moment. They had to bring out the stretcher. Markieff Morris has some bad whiplash, and he lost feeling in his hands and everything. It got a little scary for a second.
To me, that's what it sounded like.
Now that he's not on the Lakers anymore, now he's a bitch.
Huh? To me. Sound like a bitch to me. LeBron wouldn't have let him do that. First of all, LeBron would have had him under control.
No, you want to know? So this brings up a good commentary about this. You know what? Actually to me is the most fucked up part about it all? I don't mind the hard fouls and Jokic retaliating. All right, first of all, Jokic, see y'all November 29th in Miami. Just remember that now. But why is Jokic doing it? You need to have your Markieff Morris of the Nuggets go get him. Why is your superstar rating MVP having to do that himself?
Because he's Serbian. Who else is going to do it on 18? Who else do they have?
I mean, Jeff Green's a veteran. I don't know.
Aaron Gordon.
Who?
Aaron Gordon.
No, I mean, I'm just saying, that's why you need to have some of those guys on your team.
You're right. You need one.
You don't let people go and punk your MVP like that. Because now Jokic got suspended for a game because they didn't have anyone else go get suspended for him.
But Jokic had to respond because then people would have been trying to punk him on all year season long. He had to respond. He didn't have to respond as hard. He didn't have to respond as hard. But he couldn't have just looked at Jokic at Morris and be like, what was that about? He had to do something.
Somebody had to do something.
Somebody,
you're right. It's clear that no one else was going to do it. Because I remember actually the year when COVID interrupted the season. It was Tyler Hero's rookie year, Duncan Robinson's first year being an actual player and starting for the Heat. and a lot of people would try them, but then Jimmy, I'm blanking on
Quick
his name,
timeout. Udonis Haslam
Johnson,
again.
right?
Shut
Like
that shit down quick.
you would have other people on the Heat that would go stand up for them.
You're right.
Just like not look,
Not happening today.
you're not gonna punk my teammates. Not my teammates now. I don't really want Jimmy doing it because Jimmy's like the guy that we
Right,
don't
man.
need
You
him
got PJ
suspended or
Tucker
anything.
now. You good.
No, yeah, good.
Yes,
PJ Tucker. Again, you can always throw Haslam in the game.
Facts.
You got plenty of people
Man,
on that.
please, for a second, please tell me you saw Tyler Hero try to throw an alley-oop to Udonis Haslam. What was he thinking?
See, Joe, I was really conflicted on that play. There was part of me that was like, you know what? That's right. You still believe in Haslam at age 40, whatever he
You're
is.
right, insane.
Love it. Love the belief
Insane.
that Udonis was gonna. I don't even know if Udonis' prime was gonna go get out there.
Yeah, no way.
Prime UD probably ain't getting that one.
Nope.
Man, has UD ever looked so old? Like then when he fell, he fell like an old person.
I felt stiff legs and everything. He was scared to fall. Like, man, I don't know if I'm gonna get up.
Oh my god. Oh, actually, Joe, I'm glad you brought up PJ Tucker though, because I want to talk about a little Twitter back and forth I briefly had with the Rick Bucher. Rick Bucher engaged somebody from Three and a Possible.
Yes,
I saw him tweet out some bullshit that PJ Tucker was not a good defender, and I'm like, this is what we're doing. My tweet was, "This is what we're doing." We just saw this man make life hell for Kevin Durant in the last year's playoffs, and then apparently he responded to me and said, called it a nonsensical example. And first of all, the original tweet I was responding to, he was saying defensive field goal percentage against is not a good statistic. That's what he said. And he then goes to then tell me in his response to me that KD averaged 35 on 49% shooting against PJ Tucker and the Bucks. I was like, well, okay, which is it? Are we not allowed to use these stats or not? But regardless, I think if anybody watched that series, PJ Tucker made life hell for Kevin Durant. That's all you can do. That's Kevin Durant.
You can't stop the man,
Joe.
You can't stop the man. Seriously. Yeah, Andre Iguodala got MVP of a finals, and LeBron averaged 27, 8, and 8. Like, come on. He got it just because he guarded LeBron and made it harder for LeBron. Like, you get that. That's credit. You can't just look in the stats and see defense. You actually got to watch the game and say, that man is playing defense. He's making it hard for him on every down screen. He's making it hard for him on every off-ball screen to get the ball. He's making everything difficult for Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant's mama was cussing PJ Tucker out on the sidelines. That's how hard he was playing defense. You tell me this man can't play defense? That's insane to me. That's absurd.
At the end of the day, two of those games, after games 1 and 2, where the Nets looked like they got in control, the next two games, PJ Tucker mostly obviously had some help, but like forced Kevin Durant to shoot under 40%. Milwaukee won those two games. Without that 2-game stretch, they don't win the series. Then the Nets go on and probably win. So
is PJ Tucker guarding Kevin Durant on that last play when Kevin Durant's foot's on the line?
I don't remember.
Or was that Brook Lopez? I can't remember. It may have been both of them. I can't remember either.
But that's actually a great point because a lot of Kevin Durant's points came off of Budenholzer just leaving Brook Lopez out there, and Durant would just call for a screen and get PJ off of him. If PJ was such a bad defender, one, I guess he thinks that Budenholzer is an idiot and would put a bad defender to start on Kevin Durant. I guess that's what the claim is. I mean, Budenholzer is an idiot, but it wasn't stupid. It wasn't stupid to put PJ Tucker on him.
Not at all.
And then, secondly, if PJ Tucker was a bad defender, why is Kevin Durant asking for a screen to get him off of him?
He just asked for a clear out.
Yeah. So, Rick Bucher, you lost this round.
You definitely lost that one. Good try, though.
All right.
Try to use a nerd stat and it failed.
Right after he said the stat was stupid. All right, Rick. You got it, man. But all right, let's talk about some teams in the NBA. So last week we kind of did like a do I believe in you or do we not believe in you type of thing. We're not going to do that again this week, but we do want to talk. We're going to talk about some teams that are, either doing really well or struggling, or have even done better since the last time we talked, and just kind of give an update on how we feel about those teams. The first team we haven't talked about at all yet because we're used to them, being at the very bottom of the Eastern Conference. The Cleveland Cavaliers are 9-5. Great start for
Yeah,
them.
great start.
Joe, we were talking before the show. You brought up Evan Mobley. So just kind of tell me what you're seeing with Evan Mobley and what you think about the Cavs.
Yeah, he's a big man. He's athletic. He's a stretch forward. He can shoot the ball. What I like about the Cavs more than anything, they're big. They're just playing bully ball. They got so many power forwards. I guess 4s and 5s. There's no position, so it's kind of hard to say. They just got so many big men. They're kind of like the Miami Heat. I think they're going to win a lot of regular season games just because they're going to be bigger. They're going to out rebound you. They're going to be stronger. And Colin Sexton hasn't even played well yet. Darius Garland's been balling though, so they got a couple of young guards. But the fact they're just so big up front, it's just gonna make them win a lot of regular season games. But at the end of the day, they don't have no chance. They're just too young, and they don't have enough. They don't have enough points out there for real.
I think a good kind of hope for them would be like a similar season to the Hawks last year, minus the postseason success. Obviously,
Mm-hmm.
I don't see the postseason
Yeah,
success
me
that the
either.
Hawks have. But like them kind of being a good regular season team, being in, anywhere between 4, 5, and 6 would be a huge season for them. Even if they got to the playing game,
That's
honestly,
true.
that would be a great season for them. Um,
But I'm
I
just
like
saying,
I like
man.
Mobley a lot too, Joe. You know what else is he's a pretty good passer. He's a pretty good
Yeah,
passing
I
big
agree.
man, and that's kind of surprising for a guy that's 19 years old. So I think, like, because you were saying, they have a lot of bigs. They got him, they got Jared Allen, like that.
Ed Davis,
Ed
Taco
Davis,
Fall,
yep,
Kevin
Taco.
Love, Laurie Marketing, Mobley. Like they got so many freaking centers and forwards. It's just they're so big. They're
And I
gonna get
think
every
his
rebound.
ability to play, not only just score from the outside, but play make at the top of the key, I think is really helping unlock all those different guys. Okay, let's talk about the first place team in the East. Just like we predicted, the Washington Wizards. I had them 4-5. You had them like playing game-ish, I believe.
Mm-hmm. I still have them in playing gameish. I mean, they're playing real
Think
good
they're
right
gonna fall?
now, but they got six. They got six. They only 6 deep, and after that, it's a wrap. They maybe 6 deep, maybe because you got Brad, you got Dinwiddie, Kuzma. You're not really sure what he hasn't really taken that step
I think
quite
Kuzma's actually
yet.
had
He's
a
playing
good year
well,
so
but
far.
he's
I've
not.
liked his season so far. I
He's
think he's
good,
less
but
focused on scoring
I
and
agree with
being
that.
a more complete basketball player, and I think that's exactly what they need.
I agree
Wes
with that.
Unseld should be the leading candidate for Coach of the Year with how he's got that team
I
playing.
agree, especially because they're actually playing defense this year too, which is
Mhm.
insane because they sucked. They were terrible last year in defense, and I like what Montrezl Harrell was doing on the bench. Like that's crazy. That's gonna help them win a lot of games.
I think
But
Thomas Bryant is supposed to be back
mm-hmm.
soon. I think, or has he come back yet?
and
I think soon. I don't think he's quite back yet.
if Hirochi Moore could take a step,
Rui.
oh man, they would be good, and I would have a little bit more faith. But I just don't think they have enough talent around Brad. He's your
Yeah.
number one, but then
hmm
your number two is Spencer Dinwiddie. And I don't know if he's a 6 man or if he can actually be the number two. So that's what we're going to see this year. He's played well when he has played this year, but I don't know if that's going to be consistent. I just don't think they got enough. I don't think they got 6 players,
I don't know.
maybe.
I think they got a little more than you're giving them credit for. So I'm gonna go through their roster here real quick. So obviously you got Brad, Montrezl
Yeah,
Harrell is their second leading scorer. You got Dinwiddie, Kuzma, and then Caldwell Pope. That's kind of their
that helps defensively.
starting five, right? Then you got NATO, Daniel Gafford, who came in and played
Ooh.
really well for them
Ooh.
last year. Their first round pick from last year, Denny, uh, from Israel.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Denny. He
He
can
can
shoot.
score the rock. So like right there, that's like eight people
Okay, man.
before Thomas Bryant comes back. So I think they got enough depth. Like when it comes playoff time, they're not going to want any more than that, anyways.
True.
Like Neto's fine. He's a fine backup guard to have. I think they're in a solid spot. Kuzma's averaging 9 rebounds. Like where
Which
did
is
that come
huge. That's huge. Yeah. He's
from?
big enough, too. He just, yeah.
Yeah, it's a 1-2
Surprised they
thing.
keep going in
And
there. Yeah.
and that's why I think Unseld has to be the leading coach of the year right now because he's got all these guys.
All new.
If you looked at all those guys and then just like now, obviously, national media perception is not always accurate. Like What would they say about Brad Beal? They say he don't really want to play defense.
Right.
Brad's D'ing up.
Playing
Brad's
defense.
tapping back into like his first 3 or 4 years where he was a above average defender. Kuzma doesn't want to do anything but score. He's rebounding, and playing fine defense, like about as good as defense Kuzma can play. Like they're all doing the things that they need to do to be a winning team. And what I love about it is they're seeing results right away. Because that's going to help with buy-in so much. You get
a great point.
First-time head coach, and like, oh yeah, I'll play defense. All right, buddy.
And not that, Brad's the only player with more than 3 years experience on the Wizards, like playing for the Wizards.
Playing for the
Wizards.
Yep.
No one's been there more than 3 years besides Brad. So you got a whole bunch of people coming in a new city and all that, and he's making it work right away. It's pretty crazy.
And I think Washington D.C. can be a good basketball city if they get rolling. If they maintain like this type of competitive, like they're not going to be the 1 seed, but like if they still remain in that top 4, like that city will get behind them. That city will get behind them. Okay, let's talk. Like the Warriors still haven't lost since we last talked about them.
I guess we got to talk about them.
Like, man.
And Steph's starting to get rolling now too.
Woo, Steph is starting to get rolling. Clay might be coming back before Christmas now. Ooh.
Did you see him do that TV interview on the sidelines on the bike the whole time on purpose?
No.
He's sitting there in street clothes, just sitting there pedaling on the bike for a whole 5-minute interview. Just to let people know, like, dude, really? Like, that's crazy. Ain't nobody asked you to jump on the bike. You got a suit on. You sitting there on a bike. It was crazy.
Clay's a goofy dude.
He's just be ready.
Ass dude.
They're dangerous. They are definitely dangerous.
Yeah, your Lakers might be in trouble, buddy.
Man, like
let's talk about your Lakers. They're struggling. Lakers are struggling.
They don't got LeBron. They don't have Trevor Ariza. They don't have THT.
I haven't seen Nunn yet. My boy Nunn.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, come on, man. Bazemore's playing 24-plus minutes a game. Like, you can't live like that.
Can we talk about Bazemore? Because the Heat and the Lakers just played
12 minutes a game, if that.
So your Lakers did steal one from my Heat. Jimmy got hurt in the first quarter, which then kind of made it even because y'all didn't have LeBron. And y'all, I'm just saying, both teams missing their best player.
I see what you were trying to say. Don't be putting them on the same sentence like that.
They are. At this stage of LeBron's career and how Jimmy's been playing, they're in the same. Jimmy is actually averaging LeBron numbers when he was in Miami. Just a touch less points. 25, 7, and 6. But nonetheless.
To share the ball with 2 other superstars.
I mean, yeah, Kyle Lowry takes shots. Bam takes shots. Tyler Hero's taking a lot of shots. Duncan's taking a lot of shots.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Just run the ball around.
Okay.
Jimmy's not taking 30 shots a game.
And nobody would ever want Jimmy Butler taking 30 shots a game.
Yeah, I'd take it. As long as they're at the rim, I don't care.
Exactly. As long as he's driving to the lane.
This is the first time like I had to watch like way more fucking Bazemore than I ever have wanted to watch. I've never seen such a obviously relative for the NBA. He was way better than me.
Miss layups.
Like I've never seen such a trash player talk so much shit. Like such a terrible player.
Trash. He's so bad.
So much shit. Like remember last year when he was all on, Curry, like was like made like the comment after Brad hurt his hamstring when they were going for like the scoring title. Like, all right, if Steph wants to say something, that's fine.
Let Steph say it.
Pipe down 3 points a game.
Exactly.
Like, ain't nobody trying to hear that from you. Just had to get that off. He just bothers the hell out of me.
He's been playing no defense this year.
Right. The one thing you're supposed to be good at, you
can't even do it.
Don't even do.
I am concerned though with LeBron though, man. Abdominal strains, bro. What you do, man? What you grab the milk out the fridge and hurt your shit? Like, come on, man. I know you like abdominal strain for real. Like, that's not a good look.
Honestly, I feel like if this was just like not November, I think he's probably suited up and playing.
I agree.
I'm not that worried about it. I'm just the only thing that worries me is that I need to see LeBron, Westbrook, and AD figure it out together. That's the only thing that worries me about LeBron missing time. It's just getting the chemistry right. That's all that I think is worrying.
Because Westbrook cannot. Oh my goodness, man. Oh my goodness. I had never seen somebody like. Does he not work on his jump shot? I've never seen somebody like not progress in their shooting throughout the
I mean,
years.
he honestly has regressed with this
That's what
shooting.
I'm saying.
Because in
I don't
OKC,
understand
like
it.
he was never like a great shooter, but like he wasn't
And you can tell, like,
bad
okay,
bad.
when you
Like he wasn't
suck at
just bad.
shooting, like, okay, you hit rim, and you're like, oh, damn, that was a bad shot. His shit is clanking.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
rough.
good. It looked like me out there in the gym. That shit clanking, bro. Like, come
Well,
on.
but like this is another reason why like you can't have like a Bazemore out there playing with
No with
him.
them.
Like
No, you need shooters.
it's just the construction makes no sense right now. It's painful to watch, man. Like, and I told you and Devion
We did.
when
Wayne
y'all
Ellington didn't look
signed
good though.
fucking Malik Monk, I told y'all got 2 games this year out of him against the when they play the fucking Miami Heat, and
And he
this
did
son
it.
of a bitch
He did
dropped
it again.
27.
He did it again.
He scored in his career. This is his 5th year. He has scored over at least 27 points 5 times. 3 of them are against the Heat. Fuck you, Malik Monk. Fuck you, man. Like,
Him or something? Like,
golly.
did y'all skip over him or something?
For good reason. The boy averages 7 points a game for his career.
He's so little, man. He's so little.
Oh my god. But, anyways, let's talk about the Bucks. You brought the Bucks pre-show as well. They've been banged up and everything a little bit, but they got some of their guys. But they got Middleton and Drew Holiday back. They're still missing Brooke.
They should be
They're
looking
still
better.
struggling.
They're struggling. I know people giving them their best because they the champs, but they should look better.
I think they got a little finals champion hangover.
Maybe a little bit. They did just go to the White House and stuff. Maybe that'll be over after that.
Yeah, they need to get it in gear though. It's like all right, we're getting close.
It's game time. I mean, like
first quarter of the year is about to be over. You guys
Giannis, those first couple games though, Giannis was looking good. Like he was walking in the jump
Giannis
shots.
looks fine. Giannis looks fine to me. It's everyone else.
Everybody else is just they're playing blah. They're just playing blah.
You know, like last year,
they should not lose to the Celtics. Like, come on, bro. Y'all should not lose to the Celtics not one time this year. They had nobody, and you lost to the Celtics without Jaylen Brown. Come on now. I know you didn't have Giannis, but come on, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's rough. I still think they'll get it together. You know, but again, kind of like the Lakers, like you're seeding. I don't know if you want to make it hard from round one.
Yeah, because it's going to be tough in the East again.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. All right. You brought up Jaylen Brown. He's been missing some time. He's got, I think, is it a knee? Is that what's bugging him? So there's been rumors that the Celtics and Sixers maybe could do a deal for Ben Simmons, and the Sixers have said we would need Jaylen Brown. I just want to know right now from you.
Sorry.
You good?
Yeah.
You okay? All right. I want to know from your perspective, if you're the Celtics, if you're Brad Stevens, you're in your first year as a GM, do you pull the trigger?
I do not trade Jaylen Brown. I trade Jason Tatum for Ben Simmons because Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum don't match. Jason Tatum is an ISO player like Kobe. Ben Simmons is a passer. They ain't going to work out. Ben Simmons and Jaylen Brown would mix better together. I would trade Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum, and I would get Ben Simmons and something else from the 76ers, and I would be straight with that and go with that. In my opinion, because I just don't think Ben Simmons and Jason Tatum should work. So if you want to trade for Ben Simmons, I think you have to get rid of Jason Tatum and not Jaylen Brown.
Wow. Okay. I haven't thought about it in that way. So, okay. Would you if they asked for picks, are you throwing in picks? You saying no, fuck you, like that's enough.
No picks, no way.
Okay.
I'm giving you Jason Tatum for Ben Simmons. That's straight up, because they about the same. That's straight up.
Okay, I like it, Joe. I'm surprised. I thought you were gonna say no deal, no matter what. I like the Ben Simmons for Jaylen Brown thing. I like it for both teams. I'm not gonna lie. I like it more for the Celtics. I think if I'm the Celtics, I do Jaylen Brown and probably Horford as well. Now I don't know if Horford goes to Philly again.
Again,
but
right.
I think Horford has to leave if they bring in Ben Simmons. And
I'll
tell you,
the 76ers have Andre Drummond. It's a lot of
that's what I'm saying. Like I don't think Horford would go there. I think Horford goes somewhere else, and you get like a
three-way trade,
like a shooter or something, or kick in something else for the Sixers if they really need it. I actually like the pairing of Ben Simmons with Jason Tatum, mostly because Ben Simmons can guard whoever Jason Tatum doesn't want to guard.
Playing no defense. He ain't Nope. Not
Talk
playing that
about
defense.
needing a 1-2 to play defense. Jason Tatum doesn't have it.
Nope. None.
Doesn't
He
have
just
it.
wants to shoot
And
the
I'm
ball.
saying that rocking my Chaminade shirt, but
Yes, sir.
Jason Tatum don't want
Not
to play in the damn
happening.
defense.
Nope.
Um,
No, he's shooting the
I
ball.
also like their pairing because I think a pick like either one being the ball handler, pick and roll with those two, or pick and pop with Tatum in circumstances, I think would put
Danger.
teams in a really interesting way. Because what I foresee teams doing is like similar to what the Bucks did, or what your Lakers always do when they play the Heat, right? They put Anthony Davis on Jimmy Butler, and they just pretty much have him kind of hunt in the lane and kind of protect the lane. I think a lot of teams do that with Ben Simmons.
Mm-hmm.
And then if you do that and you use Jason Tatum as a ball handler and Ben as a screener, you have let Tatum just walk into a lot of threes or mid-range shots. Like I
Or
think
you're
that
gonna
could get
let Ben Simmons roll and get to the paint left and right. Then you're gonna have to foul him. Okay, but you only can foul him so much.
exactly. And what I also like is that the Celtics already have a bunch of like guards that are pretty much just 3-and-D type players, whether it's Pritchard or Naismith or whoever, all those role players that they have, which is all you need with Ben Simmons.
Bunch of
Just guys that can guard
That's
the
fair.
guards on the other team and then spot up, shoot, just not get in the way. So I think you would essentially play Ben like I've been saying for a long time, play him like the Bucks play Giannis. Have him play that role. He gets a rebound in transition, he goes. And I think you still want a Tatum that's a bad shot maker, essentially, for late game situations. They don't clash offensively like Ben and Embiid do. And then on the flip side, Jaylen Brown is another defensive guard that can also go get a bucket. He's more of an ISO player than I think Tobias Harris is. So if they need an ISO play, I think Jaylen Brown makes a lot more sense than a Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris can still work with Embiid on pick and roll and really get the most out of him. And they both can spot up and shoot. I like it. I think Tatum would work for them as well for all the exact same reasons minus the defense.
The defense. That would be the big thing is the defense. But they got Maxey.
They still got they got Maxey, Thibault, like they got other guys. Like, I think both would be fine. I think that's a good marriage. I just don't know if those two teams could actually. I just don't know if I could see because like we got to think. Remember when the Sixers were trying to complete their process? Who did they trade with to get up to number one? They traded with the Celtics.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And they took Markelle Fultz, and it became like the most well-known thing in the world that the Celtics wanted Tatum anyways. Like they were going to take Tatum at 1 or at 3, and then
Danny
the Lakers
conned them and made them think that they were going to take Markelle Fultz.
I don't know. Now that Danny's gone, like are things kind of okay with them?
Funny. Plus, Daryl Moore is going to do whatever he can to get the best out of the situation. He's being stingy.
Yeah. So interesting situation. But all right, I think that's a good way to wrap it up, Joe.
Is Dame Lillard out of any conversations? We done with the Dame trade talks? You think?
Oh yeah, I personally never took them seriously.
Me either. I think so. Yeah, I think he was just trying to put some pressure on them to make some moves.
I don't even know if he really did. I think it might have been other teams that wanted Dame. They just started saying like, "Oh yeah, we've received calls from the Trailblazers about Damian Lillard. We hear he's available." Like, I don't think they actually ever reached out.
That's a great point. Trying to bring some discourse in the organization. I can see that.
You know how people, agents and teams all play those games. That's all I think that's
was. That's fair.
Another team that's struggling though that needs to kind of get their shit together. Trailblazers.
Yeah, they are what they are.
All right, Joe, it's been a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
We'll try and get this up here by Monday or Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
During the possible. Hopefully, we'll have Devion as a new father next time.
And Devion Jr.
I don't think they'd make that mistake.
A light-skinned Devion.
Oh, Lord. That sounds awful. All right. See y'all next week.